Zack Snyder's Batman v Superman is probably considered one of the most heavily criticized superhero movies ever made by critics and comic book fans alike. From its incoherent storytelling to many controversial plot points, Batman v Superman is not in every moviegoer's liking. But that is not to say that this movie is without its themes and messages. The movie delves into three main themes: God and unlimited power, hope in a hopeless world, and redemption. So let's go into it. As human beings, we commonly associate unlimited power to the concept of God, and Superman is the physical embodiment of said power. This, of course, creates a great amount of controversy amongst us inferior beings, and everyone has a different response to it. Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, looked from the perspective of a consequential morality. After the destruction of Metropolis and the collateral damage of thousands of civilian lives, which was caused by the fight between Superman and Zod, Batman understands the potential destruction that could be caused by Superman.
He has the power to wipe out the entire human race.
Batman sees that if one day Superman turns against humanity, then it will result in the end of humanity. For that reason, his logic stands as:
we believe there's even a 1% chance that he is our enemy. We have to take it as an absolute certainty.
This type of logic is created through a utilitarian consensus that if such a risk has a very low probability of creating catastrophic damage, it must be eliminated nevertheless. And since Superman has such unlimited power, which might as well destroy the Earth, he's not concerned if such power is in the right hands, as such power should not be in anyone's hands. Lex Luthor is also on the same page with Batman, but his reasoning is more in the lines of an anti-theist motive.
They need to see the fraud you are.
Senator Finch, who represents the current governmental establishment, sees that a man with such unlimited power to be a threat to the current democratic society.
In a democracy, good is a conversation, not a unilateral decision.
The idealization of God is in the idea that at times of despair and suffering, we turn to the one who has the most power to save us. For these circumstances, we allow those in power to do whatever is necessary to save us in our time of need. The idealization of a divine entity is in parallel to our own inferiority and limits. We see ourselves as weak and powerless, so we leave ourselves to the mercy of God. While some idolize in this way, others like Lex Luthor despise the love that is towards Superman. To Lex, he sees that there's a certain paradox in a divine entity, as he says,
God is all powerful. He cannot be all good. And if he is all good, then he cannot be all powerful.
Luthor rejects the notion that a person, or in this case God, cannot be benevolent and powerful, for the greatest lie to him is that
power can be innocent.
It is fair to say that Lex has a distaste to tyranny and oppression.
Dad was born in East Germany, and every other Saturday he had to march in a parade and wave flowers at tyrants. So the day does not come, madame, when your children are waving daisies at a reviewing stand.
For that, he has no intention to be in the mercy of God, as he understands that a person with such power will show no mercy.
We don't have to depend upon the kindness of monsters.
When he is rejected to have an import license on kryptonite to use as a weapon against Superman, he says,
"The red capes are coming. The red capes are coming."
A reworking of the quote from Paul Revere when the British were marching from Boston during the American Revolution. This line of "the red capes are coming" is a warning from Lex that day after day, people with power, also known as metahumans, will increase and humanity will have nothing to do to stop them if they choose to turn against humanity. One of the greatest clashes that Superman faces is his responsibility to make the perfect choices as he is expected from society. The grand idea when it comes to loving an all-powerful being is if God is on our side, then there is no question that he will be worshipped. But once it is seen that God is not on our side, then things can get a little messy. After the bombing in the Senate building, Superman understands that there is no hope left in our violent and cynical world. And after he's left, people suspect that he was responsible for the deaths of the bombing, because we, as humans, fully put responsibility to the one who has all the power. We go into thoughts like, if God is all powerful, then why didn't he stop that? Our expectations of such a person is so high that once we are left and abandoned by God, we rebel against him. The idea of unlimited power embodied in the physical form of Superman is ironically criticized by the ones who also use and enforce their power. While Batman does fear that Superman will turn corrupt and kill thousands of lives, he also has been corruptly turned from a moral perspective. His moral code has been diminished after his hope for a less crime-filled world is gone. After all this, he has no problem of branding or even killing criminals, as he has thrown away his code of morality. To him,
the world only makes sense if you force it to.
Lex, on the other hand, craves power due to his mortality and powerlessness amongst a god in his world. The film explicitly shows him holding a blue ball in his hand, symbolizing his wish to rule all of Earth.
Prometheus went with us, and he ruined Zeus's plan to destroy mankind, and for that he was given a thunderbolt. True!
Lex in a way sees himself as Prometheus, the titan who brought fire, or in other words, brought knowledge to humanity. Lex also sees that he, like Prometheus, must bring enlightenment to humanity by making everyone see the facade of a divine entity.
Boy, do we have problems up here. Problem of you on top of everything else. You above all, because that's what God is. Horus, Apollo, Jehovah, Kal-El, Clark, Joseph, Kent.
When it comes to the idea of power, Lex is in search of true power. His main feeling of powerlessness is that even with all his knowledge, he's inferior to Superman.
And knowledge is power. No. The bittersweet pain among men is having knowledge with no power.
Dawn of Justice goes into the theme of hope in Hopeless World by challenging its symbol of hope, Superman. Superman's main confliction is that he believes in a moral code that must be upheld.
Perry, when you assign a story, you're making a choice about who matters and who's worth it. The police won't help. The press has to do the right thing.
But he is continuously told to stand down even when he knows he is doing the right thing.
You don't get to decide what the right thing is.
When the planet was founded, it stood for something, Perry.
And so could you if it was 1938, but it's not 1938.
While this is a reference to the year of Superman's first comic book release, it is a notion that the idea to stand for real justice has now been tarnished and is not welcome in our contemporary society. In this world that is full of suffering and pain, it is easy to feel hopelessness. But Superman's wish is to bring hope in which things can change. But whatever choice that he makes is criticized in cynicism. The last drop is the court bombing, and after a brief moment, Superman does not believe there is a point in bringing hope in a hopeless world. In this scene, Superman goes on top of a mountain only to see his deceased father, Pa Kent. This is of course an allegory for Superman's Fortress of Solitude. In usual pop culture, the Fortress of Solitude is this grand monument made out of ice, and at time of despair, Superman seeks for advice from his biological father, Jor-El. But Dawn of Justice turns this concept upside down by showing Superman seeking advice from the father that raised him, beside a much smaller monument. In the end, Pa Kent advises Superman that there is a cost to every action, but it is essential to continue to try making the world a better place. A world that Batman has no hope left. One of the main reasons for Batman losing his moral compass is due to him seeing the world and the people in it in a cynical way. To him, every person is bound to be corrupt, no matter how good they seemed before.
He is not our enemy, not today.
20 years in Gotham, Alfred. We've seen what promises are worth. How many good guys are left? How many stayed that way?
He even sees fighting crime to be pointless, as he puts it.
20 years of fighting criminals amounts to nothing.
Criminals are like weeds, Alfred. Pull one up, another grows in its place.
Batman's cynical perspective that the world is a cruel and painful place is bound to the death of his family, in which this movie takes us to. The idea of redemption is cohesive to the story arc of Bruce Wayne, starting from the brutal murder of his mother and father. And the idea of redemption, in order to be in play, one must fall in order to be saved. And Bruce Wayne does not see himself to be redeemed, as he states,
And what falls is fallen.
Bruce's fall correlates with the death of his parents. This is even shown with the camera movement, in which the moment Bruce falls, the camera turns upside down as if to show the moment the gun is drawn at his parents. Bruce's world has turned upside down. When the first shot is fired, Bruce falls to the pit, and when his mother is shot, he finally falls. The death of his parents is what caused Bruce to fall into a pit of darkness with his inner demons, giving him a much harsh and cynical look on life itself. When the bats start to rise Bruce to the light, Bruce says,
They took me to the light. A beautiful lie.
The beautiful lie is using the pain and sufferings from our tragedies as a means to reach our redemptive state. The reason why Batman is because he used his pain as a means to fight justice. Bruce has lost his way as he sees the world and himself in a cynical perspective. The choice of being redeemed is done as he is about to make the choice of killing Superman. Superman begs to stop as he says,
You're letting him kill Martha!
This is a turning point for Batman as he reflects on a choice that at this point is unredeemable. By reflecting to the day of his mother's death, Batman understands that he is about to become the one thing that he decided to stop when he was a kid. the man who killed his mother. Batman projects that man onto himself and sees the line that he's about to cross. By killing the son of a mother, he understands that he's about to become the one thing he loathed in the first place, and redeems himself by choosing not to kill Superman and become Batman. Hi, thank you so much for watching this overanalysis on Batman v Superman. If there are any thoughts on this video or any movies you want me to overanalyze, please write it in the comment section below. If you believe this was worth for your friends to watch, please do by sharing it. I also got other videos like this via a link on the description section below. Thank you.